Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. We have a 10-game NBA slate for Wednesday to discuss. There's a ton of news that we're waiting on for this slate. So there's going to be a lot of changes, just like yesterday. Once we got the James news, we had to make some tweaks, which I posted on Twitter here. Posted the updated picks, which went with Westbrook and Davis to kind of carry the load on both sides that game. Went to overtime, but they were crushing. Davis survived some scary falls. Looked like he might have been out for the season. The way he was holding that knee late, but he got right back up and ended up finishing the game and the overtime. So shout out to Anthony Davis for showing some toughness there. And then kind of went with a mini game stack in that one. I went with some one-offs in the Warriors game, like Lou Dort and Wiggins on DraftKings. So DK was great. Finished like top 4 or 5% in tournaments. And then FanDuel cashed as well. So a good start to the week. Let's get into this one. If you guys enjoy the videos, appreciate it if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process for the update, so definitely be a lot of changes here. That's kind of a first look. And if you want to join us, you can visit the website, link is in the description. So looking at the price picks today, the price picks board is pretty tough. Last couple of days, yesterday wasn't, like the first couple of days of the season, it was pretty easy to kind of pick out the values. They're making it work a little bit harder today. For the points one, I am going over on Trae Young against the Pelicans. It's just such a good spot. It's at 25.5. This is one of those spots where you think Trae Young can drop like 30 plus. He's going to take 20 plus shots, which normally a guy like Trae Young will be able to hit more than 40% of those. Takes a good amount of threes, gets to the free throw line, knocks down his free throws, hasn't missed yet this year. So that's one of the ones I feel pretty good about in terms of taking the over on Trae Young's points. Rebounding, you have Kevin Durant. I'll take the over 7.5. Matchup against Miami is pretty difficult, but Durant just plays so many minutes. You're getting Durant just doing everything for them. He's averaging almost a double-double on the season. He's topped 8 in 3 of 4. One game that he didn't, we just had 5 rebounds, which he was just super aggressive from the floor. But you're getting 35 to 38 minutes out of Kevin Durant, doing everything on the floor, has such a high usage rate. Even gets some offensive opportunities to rebound the ball, but mainly you're looking for him to just crash the glass on the defensive end. And it's a spot where they play big, so they're going to need Durant. The Miami plays big, so they're going to need Durant to kind of help with the rebounding because Claxton and Blake Griffin and Aldridge are not going to be able to hold off Bam all by themselves. And then also staying in that game, I'll take the under on Kyle Lowry over, sitting at 2.5 for the 3 points made. He's just been a little bit cold to start the year. He's dealing with a little bit of an injury a couple of games ago, but he plays around like 30 minutes. I don't know if they'll play him a ton more than that. Maybe like 32 to 33. He's just 2 of 12 from 3. Could today be the day that he just gets out there and knocks down a lot of threes? Yes, but I'll still take the under 2.5. I think at most, hopefully, he just gets 2. He'll probably get at least 1 because he will take like 5 to 6 of them. But so far, Brooklyn has done a good job at limiting three-pointers. Opponents are just hitting 33% of them. So that's the third prop that I like on Prize Picks. You can do 2 out of 3 just in case one of these doesn't hit. I think probably the Lowry one is like the least confidence one. I feel great about the Trae Young, and then Durant, put that in the middle. So if you want to play on Prize Picks, you can use my promo code Process for a deposit match up to $100. And let's get into this one. On DraftKings point guard plays, you have a ton of guys above $9,000. James Harden is 10K against Miami. Tough spot for some of these Brooklyn guys, but these guys are superstars. You don't really have to look at the matchup for any of them. They can drop monster triple-doubles to any given game. But so far, the thing that's been holding James Harden back is that his shooting percentage has just been woeful the whole year. It's been bad. He's shooting just 36% from the floor, 32% from 3. Those numbers are going to improve. Playing next to Durant, they still stagger their minutes a little bit, so that's good for James Harden. He gets probably like 8 to 10 minutes, like 8 minutes without Durant on the floor. So in those minutes, he can just kind of do everything that he needs to do. Ja Morant's been so far making a case for MVP, even though we're just a week in. But he's been awesome all games. Even against the Lakers, he missed that free throw at the end, but he was the only reason they were in that game. Put up 40 and 10, shooting 62% from the floor. He's shot over 52% all 3 games, even hitting some of his threes, which is great to see. At this price tag, you're looking at 60. So I think it's a little bit too high right now. I just can't go there. I'd probably look to his teammates like Bane, Melton, or even like Steven Adams for cheaper plays to get exposure to the Grizzlies side. A guy that's been struggling is Damian Lillard. He's now shooting 8% from three-point land. 2 of 24 start. That's not going to continue. We all know what Damian Lillard will do. Just to take a matter of him just to kind of find a shot early on. It's not even been that difficult matchups here, but he just hasn't been able to get the ball to go in the hoop. A couple of these games have been blowouts, so we haven't seen the big minutes out of Damian Lillard, but that's definitely going to come. He makes a lot of sense if you're looking for a little bit of an underpriced superstar that people might be down on just looking at the box score. Like Lillard can easily light up for 50 plus. But it's going to be tough to fade Russell Westbrook today because Anthony Davis, I would be surprised if he played because he took a couple of scary falls, especially at the end of the fourth, and then he played 40 plus minutes, and he said he's dealing with some knee soreness, and there's just no reason to really put him out there against the Thunder. Like, they can handle the Thunder. The Lakers have a really easy schedule coming up the next 5 games or so. So they'll probably want to keep Davis and LeBron fresh. I wouldn't be surprised if both sit, but I think at least one, it's a good chance at least one of Davis or LeBron sits, and that would make Westbrook a guy that will just take on all the usage. Look like a tremendous play. It would be tough to get away from if we know those guys are out, or at least one of those guys are out, and Westbrook is going to be a full go tonight. Almost had a triple-double last night. He was aggressive, and he was actually good getting to the basket, which is something good to see, slicing up some of the defenders there, DeJounte, Derek White. So right now I'm going to go ahead and plug in Russell Westbrook at the point guard spot. I think Trae Young looks like a great guy also for like tournaments. If you don't want to get to Westbrook, Trae Young looks great. I like De'Aaron Fox. He's been struggling. Another guy that's been kind of down so far, but I think Fox will pick it up very quickly. Just not been able to hit his threes, and the assists have been down a little bit. Not doing a ton in the rebounding department. So the Kings are pretty deep this year. Now that they have Halliburton playing big minutes, they have Buddy Hield coming off the bench. They have Davion Mitchell out there for some of his defensive reasons. And the Harrison Barnes has been knocking down almost all of his threes so far, like 50%. Brogdon is 83. If LeVert is back, that price tag is just something I'm not going to get to. If there is no LeVert, then he makes some sense. But personally, I'd get to LaMelo Ball over Brogdon today. He's $8,100. There is no Rozier is doubtful, and there's not going to be PJ Washington. So LaMelo, they've been kind of keeping him at like 29 minutes. He played 33 in overtime, but he fouled out in that game, so he was dealing with foul trouble. I think there's pretty quickly he's going to get up to like 32 to 34. I don't know why they wouldn't play him that many minutes with Rozier out, because it's not like he's a veteran. He's only in his second year. And super explosive player. It can get you a double-double with the assist. Last game he had 6 turnovers, no defensive stats, so that kind of hurt, but he was looking at almost 50 fantasy points. So Westbrook and LaMelo Ball are my 2 favorites to look at. If you wanted to look at popcorn machine from the last game where they didn't have Washington and they didn't have Rozier, they only ran a 9-man rotation. You saw LaMelo play most of the, fouled out with like a minute to go in the overtime. But you're seeing LaMelo take on just so many minutes early on and just have the ball in his hands a lot. And then we'll look to some value here, like Jalen McDaniels at only $3,200. Looks like a pretty good play. Without Washington, he's kind of taking that PJ Washington role. So LaMelo looks like a great guy if you wanted to go to him. $8,100 against the Magic. I like LaMelo more than Booker. I like him more than Van Vliet at 78. Van Vliet would make some sense in tournaments. McCollum had like 20 points in the first half and did nothing in the second half. That game was out of hand. Quickly, they got blown out by the Clippers. He's fine if you wanted to go to him, but he's approaching 8,000, so I think there's some other, like I play my shooting guard. I wouldn't use a point guard spot on McCollum. I would like to get to a guy that has the ball in their hands like the whole game. At the bottom here, I'm not looking at like Lowry, or maybe you can look to Chris Paul, but I'm not looking at Lowry, Dinwiddie, Russell. I think SGA looks like a great option at 71. It's a back-to-back, but it doesn't really matter. If there is no Davis, it's going to be better, easier for SGA to get to the rim. Last game, he shot really well from the floor. Just didn't do a ton with the peripherals, but he still put up 41, which is great. Price tag went down by 1,000. His price tag has been kind of all over the place early on. Sexton gives you upside at that price tag, but the Cavs, I'm just not looking to target too many of them against the Clippers on a 10-game slate. Cole Anthony's been playing great, but 61 isn't, he did drop 60, so I can't really say anything. But I think that price tag is going to fluctuate in like the $5,500 to $6,500 range. If you're feeling it, you can play him, but I just other point guards that I'm looking at to target. Don't mind getting to Melton, but his price tag has kind of come up now at 5,000. You can still drop 6x plus, but maybe you look to like Devontae Graham, getting up to him at 57. A guy that will play huge minutes, take a lot of shots, good chance to get some assist as well, handling the ball. I don't know if they ruled out Josh Hart yet. We'll see. He might play or might not play. I don't know. He hasn't been playing the last few. And then all the way at the bottom, there's no Drew Holiday again for the Bucks. So if you wanted to play George Hill, somebody like that, you could. I think maybe you can go to like Dragic at 37 for tournaments, or maybe Simons if there is no Norman Powell. At shooting guard, we have Bradley Beal at 92. He looks fine. I like the price tag on Jaylen Brown. I know 2 of the games that he's played went to overtime. The first one to double overtime, but he's still going to be playing like 35 minutes or so, 33 or 35. And this year, it's just such a different story. It's going to be Brown and Tatum just having to do everything for them on offense. And Brown can also get you a lot of rebounds. So I think he looks like a great option in this kind of matchup against Washington. It's a great spot. He would be my favorite compared to Devin Booker. I like him more than Van Vliet. I like him more than CJ McCollum. Edwards been great so far, but Russell's also been struggling. I think they will kind of all balance out, a couple weeks. I'm not going to pay $69 for Alexander Walker. I don't want to pay $67 for Tyler Hero with Lowry back now. If this position you can go cheap here, you have Chris Duarte at 36 or 56. If LeVert plays, that price tag is just not going to be something to get to. He'll come off the bench. But a guy that I do like is Kelly Oubre. If you're not able to get to LaMelo Ball, still want to get to some piece of the Charlotte Hornets, Kelly Oubre makes a lot of sense. He played 38 minutes last game in regulation, played 43 in the overtime. Not only did he benefit without Rozier, but he also benefited without Washington, just having one less body in that rotation. And he's been pretty aggressive shooting the ball and getting rebounds, so you're going to look to 15-plus shots out of him if he plays his normal 35-plus minutes. Can maybe flirt with the double-double, get a couple. He's going to hit some threes, shoots a lot of them. So 57 looks like a great price tag. You can play him at small forward if you wanted to as well. But go ahead and plug him in here. We have at the bottom, you have Connaughton at 46. Bobby Portis is probable, so I would like to get to him. You have some other good price tags, like Lou Dort. Didn't really come through yesterday. He took 13 shots, was locked in on Curry the whole game, but just wasn't able to hit some of his shots. He's been struggling from 3 so far, which is something not to be. He's probably going to struggle for most of the year, but he can get hot at times. Price tag is still fair enough to where you could look to him. But if the Lakers are dealing with injuries to 2 out of the 3 superstars, they're going to want to go to like Malik Monk. His price tag went from $4,100 yesterday, where he played 39 minutes, down to just $3,700. I hope we kind of get the word on Davis and LeBron early, because these Lakers guys are going to want to get to multiple of them if they're without both of them. If they're without one of them, you're still going to want to get to at least a couple of Lakers. I think Malik Monk, Westbrook would be a couple of the top of the list. If there's no Davis, you look to one of the centers like Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan. At small forward, we have Durant, Paul George, 2 guys above 10K. The matchup is a lot better for Paul George against the Cavs. Miami's going to be very good defensively. Not to say you can't play Durant, but personally, I think I might just get to Giannis. I've been playing Giannis a lot. He's 10-8, similarly priced to those 3. I think I like Giannis and Paul George and Kevin Durant on this one. Don't know if LeBron will play or not. Tatum is $9,100. He looks fine. I probably like Jaylen Brown more than Tatum, saving $1,300. I don't want to pay $85 for Brandon Ingram on this slate. For some of the value here in the 6K range, you have Scotty Barnes right at $6,000. Gives you some upside, but his price tag is quickly rising. I maybe look to save $1,200, go down to Josh Giddey, who played just 27 minutes last game. Minutes have been also kind of all over the place for him, but he was struggling from the floor. He's been good with the rebounding, can get you some assists as well. So he looks like a good value play at $4,800. If you're looking for more of a safer play, that his minutes are definitely locked in, it's going to be Desmond Bane, because they're still without Dillon Brooks, and Bane has played huge minutes in all 3 games so far, and he's been very productive, very consistent as well, 33, 33, 33. Hopefully drops another 33 at this price tag. That would be a great value. Looking for even better value here, you can go down to maybe like a Beasley for tournaments at only $4,400. Kent Bazemore looked like a nice value play, depending on like LeBron and Davis news. If there is no Norman Powell, then you see Nasir Little start again, and he played really well for them. Played 25 in just 32 minutes. And Cody Martin struggled last game, but he might get some run off the bench. He's definitely going to get run off the bench, but could be productive. Who knows? Depends if his shot's going to fall or not. Moving on to power forward, you have Giannis at 10.8. Right now, if you don't know the status of Davis or LeBron, if they're without one of them, you might want to just play the other one. But if they're both out and you're looking to pay up for a superstar, I think Giannis would still be one of the better bets on this slate, at least for the first look perspective. Such a good spot against Minnesota. He should be able to get to the rim at ease. Nobody's going to be able to slow him down. He missed a triple-double by 1 assist last game. The assist, 7+ in 3 games. That's been very good to see. I think that will continue without Jrue Holiday for the time being. And he's going to be aggressive, getting to the basket, getting some dunks. He's even been able to hit some of his threes, and he's been a lot better from the free throw line, so his floor has just been a lot higher. So right now, Giannis is my favorite superstar, just given the news that we have on the slate. Some of the value plays, don't mind Jaren Jackson Jr., I don't mind like Evan Mobley at 7,000. Keep scrolling down a little bit further. Baisley is okay at 51. I kind of like Dort and Giddey a little bit more based on the price tags, and even probably SGA. Bobby Portis is 43. I expect him to start. I don't know if he'll be limited or anything like that, but 43 against Minnesota for Bobby Portis looks like a great value. Maybe you want to plug him in at the forward spot instead. If he's not starting, then I'd probably jump off of him because coming off the bench, he might not get enough minutes. But if he's starting, I think you get at least like 22 to 26 minutes, and he's a good player given opportunity, and he should have a lot of opportunity tonight without Brook Lopez, without Jrue Holiday. Moving on to center, it's a spot where there's not a ton of pay-ups besides Karl-Anthony Towns and Sabonis. I don't think Davis will play. And then Valanciunas is up to 88, or 82. He's been awesome so far. Not the easiest spot against Capella. He's going to make it a little bit difficult for Valanciunas. Capella 65 against Valanciunas. He's fine, but you just have so many bodies out there in Atlanta. It's tough, besides like Trae Young and maybe John Collins, to kind of pick who's going to go off on a nightly basis. And they could even get Gallinari back tonight. I think 8 makes some sense for tournaments at that price tag. Is just super cheap. And 6K range, you have John Collins looks good. Jared Allen looks good as well at 63, coming off of a couple of big games. They're 45, 32, 43 so far for him. Matched up against like Zubats tonight. I think Allen is in line for a pretty good game at that price tag. Looks solid. And then I think Steven Adams looks like a good option right now at $5,300. Matched up against Portland, is going to be playing a lot of minutes tonight against Nurkic and the backup center that they have out there. I think they brought in Cody Zeller. So Adams looks like a completely different role for him this year compared to what we've been used to. Back in the Thunder days, we've seen him not get a lot of rebounds because Russell Westbrook would just give up, or he would just give all his rebounding opportunities to Russell Westbrook. So those have come way up so far this year. 14, 16, and 9 in 3 games, and minutes have also come way up. And the role has been a lot better. He's been getting some lobs from John Morant. He's there for some defensive purposes. And he's been able to facilitate a little bit in the pick and roll. So I don't mind getting to Adams. I think this price tag is pretty fair right now for a guy that gives you 40-point upside. I wouldn't be surprised if he quickly becomes similarly priced to Jaren Jackson Jr. or maybe even a little bit more priced, like $6,500 for Adams by the time the season is over. So those are just a bunch of guys I like right now on this one. And last guy I'll plug in, if Anthony Davis is out, you're going to be looking to like Dwight Howard, or you're going to be looking to DeAndre Jordan. If not, maybe looking to both of them. But for right now, since we don't know if Davis will play or not, I'm going with McDaniels out there from Charlotte. Plug him in at utility so we can easily go to DeAndre Jordan instead. Same price tag at $3,200. But he played 22 minutes. I like what the kind of role that he had, playing some of the P.J. Washington minutes. He's a good fantasy point per minute guy, given what we know from him over the years past, especially last year when he was given some opportunity. And he can hit some shots, hit some threes. He can get you some defensive stats, get you some rebounds. $3,200. Price tag has come down a little bit. Look at like the minutes for him. He kind of checked in, played like 6 minutes in the first quarter, played like a few in the second. And then he played a bunch to finish the third and most of the fourth. Got up to 22 minutes. I think a similar amount, 20, like 2 to 25, or 20 to 25 at least, is what to be expected because the bench is consisting of McDaniels, Cody Martin, Ish Smith, and Nick Richards. You definitely would see Cody Martin and McDaniels get into the game, and Ish Smith. So those would be like at least the 8 that you know of. And McDaniels, 20 plus minutes out of him at $3,200. Could really pay off that price tag. So that is the first look on DraftKings. Let's talk about FanDuel. All right, FanDuel plays point guard options. FanDuel is going to be kind of crazy on this slate because there are so many guys that are not priced correctly. So Harden is priced fine. He's maybe a little bit underpriced, you can argue, but he's not more underpriced than some of these guys I will get to. I won't get to John Morant at $9,500. At point guard for the value picks, you have Russell Westbrook at $8,400, De'Aaron Fox at only $8,300, LaMelo at $82. Damian Lillard is down to $82 for some reason, even though he struggled the first couple of games. That's definitely an overreaction. He should not be same price tag as shouldn't be cheaper than Brogdon. He shouldn't be similarly priced to like Van Fleet and Chris Paul. SGA is only $71. That price tag is also very affordable. And then in the 6K range, you have maybe Kyle Lowry at $6,500 if you wanted to go to him. But Reggie Jackson is still very nicely priced at the shooting guard spot. Even point guard, but you play him at shooting guard. And those are the main guys. I don't know if you need to go that cheap at point guard because there's so many guys at the top end. But assuming one, if not both, Westbrook and LeBron are out. Davis and LeBron are out. You're going to need to get to Westbrook. At shooting guard, Paul George is 10.5. Harden is 10K. Paul has probably the higher floor right now. Harden maybe has a higher ceiling, given what we know. We have Brown at 88. He looks better on DraftKings. Westbrook is shooting guard eligible, so that maybe you can play him at shooting guard and then use your point guard spots for some actual point guards. For more point guards, so you can get 3 or 4 point guards in your 4 guard spots here. That could be something we can do. But Gordon Hayward is only 64. I like that price tag on him. Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 61. Looks like a great play once again. Devontae Graham, 58. I like that price tag. Don't really think you need to go to Desmond Bane at that salary. It looks better on DraftKings. And then sub 5K Dort is 48. You have Franz Wagner's price tag is slowly rising, and then Gary Trent, he's played well. If his shot's falling, you can definitely hit value at that price tag. Beasley, 45, can definitely hit value. So right now I'm going back to point guard. I'll plug in Damian Lillard because Lillard should not be $8,200. And then I can plug in Westbrook at shooting guard and get myself 2 monster ceilings at very affordable and cheap price tags. Small forward, we have Giannis at 11.2. Looks to be better than Durant on this one. Just Durant has a tougher matchup. Maybe for tournaments you want to factor that in, but for me, I'm still going to go Giannis over Durant, just with a $200 difference. We have Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler at the bottom of the top studs. They look good as well. But I like Jaylen Brown given the matchup. 8K for Anthony Edwards, maybe a little bit tough on this one. For the 6K range, you can save a lot of money. Get to Gordon Hayward, who gives you still big upside, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker still gives you monster upside. And then I kind of like Kelly Oubre at 57, playing him at small forward, which still has some good plays, but it's not as deep as point guard is. Shooting guard still has a decent amount of cheap and underpriced guys. So I think I'm not going to be playing Nasir Little. I don't think you need to go to Nwora now that Portis is back. Terrence Mann for tournaments gives you upside there at 44. And Luke Kennard had a great game off the bench, but I don't think you need to chase that. He's shot 6 of 7 from 3. Kent Bazemore would be the great value play that you would look to at $3,900. But right now, given the uncertainty, I'm going to go ahead and plug in Kelly Oubre. We've seen the upside Oubre gives you from his days with the Warriors last year. And it's going to be him and LaMelo Ball taking a lot of the shots tonight. And the matchup is really good against Orlando. Can even rack up some defensive stats, given how young Orlando is, and they'll turn the ball over at a pretty good rate. Power forward, you're going to be able to get to another stud if you wanted to. That would be Giannis. See if there's anybody crazy underpriced at the position. Jaren Jackson at 67 is pretty affordable. I like Mobley at 64. He was in some foul trouble last game, so he didn't crush, but we've seen him crush the other bunch of other games. He only got 26 minutes compared to 35, 32, 38. $6,400 salary is definitely in play. So right now I'll go ahead and plug him in. Mo Bamba also gives you a huge upside. First couple of games he was red hot from 3. He slowed down from 3 the last couple, but he's still playing good minutes to where he's going to hit value most times than not, given his affordable price tag. And then sub 5K, you have Precious at 49. He's fine. We have Larry Nance at 44. He's not going to be a guy I'm looking at. Nance, not looking at Grant Williams, Nick Batum. Unfortunate news for Bagley, he's just not in the rotation. Blake Griffin at 43, I don't think you. Jalen McDaniels will be a decent option at 41, but a lot different story, 41 compared to just $3,200. So I feel good about Mobley. And then at center, you have Karl-Anthony Towns at 10-9. That looks fine. Valanciunas is only 75. He's been like the chalk center all year on FanDuel. People have been playing him a ton. He's been crushing. At least they priced him up a little bit more. He's up to 75 now. But he's still playing huge minutes. He's going to have to play big minutes. There's no way they're going to go small against Capella and Collins. So Valanciunas right now would be a guy that I like to get to at 75 at the center spot. FanDuel took a huge price up on Steven Adams. He's up to 7,000. There's too expensive. It looks way better at 53 on DraftKings. And then, you have like Mobley. You can play my power forward, though, instead. And that's basically it. If there's no Anthony Davis, maybe you can look like Jordan or Dwight Howard for their value. 38 for Jordan, and Howard is 38 as well. But that's it. Follow me on Twitter for the updates. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight. You can hit the like button if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.